Have you ever experienced something so weird, so bizarre that it made you question reality? Let's dive into a peculiar tale from a Reddit user who encountered just that. One morning, they woke up just like any other day and began their usual routine. A stretch here, a yawn there, and off they went to the kitchen. The smell of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, a comforting aroma that signaled the start of a new day. They reached for their coffee mug, a ceramic piece decorated with a smirking cat that had been a part of their morning ritual for years. But it wasn't in its usual spot. They checked the dishwasher, the cupboards, even the bathroom in case they'd absent-mindedly taken it there. But the mug was nowhere to be found. A bit annoyed, they opted for a different mug and went on with the day. But as they left the house, they froze on the doorstep. There, on the roof of their car, was the missing coffee mug. The cat's smirk seemed almost mocking now. How did it get there? They lived alone, and they certainly hadn't put it there. Could it be a prank, or was this a glitch in the Matrix, a hiccup in reality that made the impossible possible? They stood there staring at the mug in disbelief. It was an ordinary morning, just like any other, except that it wasn't. The coffee mug on the roof of the car was a puzzle piece that didn't fit, a question mark in a sentence that should have been an exclamation. And just like that, an ordinary morning turned into something straight out of the Twilight Zone. From glitches, we move to the eerie realm of the supernatural. So buckle up, because we're about to take a mysterious ride into the unknown. Today's story comes from a Reddit user who had an encounter that's as chilling as it is perplexing. Imagine this: you're driving down a lonely stretch of highway late at night when you spot a lone figure by the roadside, thumb outstretched. It's a hitchhiker. Being the good Samaritan, you pull over and offer a ride. The stranger gets in, thanks you, and you continue on your journey. The night is dark and the road is long, but the hitchhiker's company makes the drive a little less lonely. You chat, you laugh, maybe you even share a bit of your life story, but then in an instant everything changes. You glance into the rearview mirror and the back seat is empty. The hitchhiker is gone, vanished, as though they were never there in the first place. You pull over, bewildered, and check the back seat, but there's no sign of them. Not a trace, not a single clue. They're just gone. You search your memory, trying to recall the last word spoken, the last shared laugh, the last time you saw them in the mirror. But it's as if they faded away into thin air. There's nothing but an empty car seat and the echo of your shared conversation. Who was this phantom hitchhiker? A ghost, perhaps? Or maybe a figment of your overactive imagination? Or could it be a glitch in reality itself, a transient passenger from another dimension who hitched a ride in our world only to disappear back to their own? The truth is, we may never know. The phantom hitchhiker remains a mystery, a spectral figure on a lonely road, a chilling reminder of the unknown that lurks in the dark corners of our world. And as we continue our journey into the supernatural, remember, sometimes the most haunting mysteries are the ones we carry with us. Who was this phantom hitchhiker? A ghost? A figment of imagination? We may never know. Returning to the glitches, here's a story that might make you question your own identity. Picture this: you're walking down the street minding your own business when suddenly you spot a familiar face. It's not a friend or a family member, but someone who looks eerily like you. That's right, a doppelganger. This is exactly what one Reddit user experienced. And let me tell you, it's a tale that might just make you look over your shoulder the next time you're out and about. This Redditor was going about their day as usual, nothing out of the ordinary. They were in a cafe sipping coffee when they noticed a reflection in the window. It was their own face, but it was on the other side of the cafe. They turned around, only to lock eyes with their mirror image. Now, this wasn't just a case of someone who bore a passing resemblance. No, this was a full-blown carbon copy doppelganger. The same hair, the same eyes, the same outfit, even the same birthmark on their cheek. It was as if they were looking into a mirror. The Redditor approached their look-alike. Curiosity piqued, but as they got closer, their doppelganger simply vanished into thin air. One moment they were there, the next moment they were gone, leaving our storyteller in stunned silence. They searched the cafe, asked if anyone else had seen their twin, but to no avail. It was as if they had imagined the whole thing, but they knew what they saw, and it was a sight that left them questioning reality. This is not a tale of twins separated at birth, nor a case of a long-lost sibling. This is a story of an unexplained phenomenon, a glitch in the matrix, if you will. So if you ever find yourself staring at your own face across a crowded room, remember this story. You may not be seeing double, but rather experiencing a glitch in the fabric of reality. A case of mistaken identity or a glitch in the matrix. You decide. Now, let's delve deeper into the eerie world of the supernatural. Imagine this. A Reddit user, let's call them Sam, stumbles upon an antique shop while wandering the streets of an old historic town. Among the myriad of dusty relics, a doll catches Sam's eye. The doll is quaint with a porcelain face and vintage attire, but there's something peculiar about it. It's not just the aged patina or the slightly cracked face. It's the way the doll's eyes seem to follow Sam around the shop. Intrigued and a touch unnerved, Sam decides to buy the doll, thinking it would make a great conversation starter. Once home, Sam places the doll on a shelf and forgets about it. But soon, strange things start to happen. Doors creak open when no one's around. Lights flicker without reason, and the doll, it seems to move on its own, appearing in different places around the house. Sam starts to feel an unsettling presence, a chilling sensation of being watched. And always from the corner of the eye, there's the doll, its gaze fixed on Sam. In search of answers, Sam turns to the internet and shares the story on Reddit. The responses flood in. Some users suggest the doll might be haunted, a vessel for a restless spirit. Others scoff at the supernatural, offering logical explanations. But no theory can ease Sam's growing unease. One night, as Sam is about to sleep, a soft lullaby floats through the silence. It's coming from the doll. Enough is enough. Sam packs the doll up and returns it to the antique shop, feeling an immediate sense of relief. It's easy to dismiss this as a figment of Sam's imagination, a product of an overactive mind. But what if it wasn't? What if the doll truly was haunted? We may never know for sure. Next time you see a cute doll in an antique shop, remember this story. Imagine losing track of time, not just a few minutes, but hours. It sounds like a plot from a science fiction movie, right? But what if I tell you it's not as fictional as you might think? Today, let's delve into a disturbing tale from a Reddit user who experienced this very phenomenon, missing time. This phenomenon, often a central theme in Glitch in the Matrix stories, is as intriguing as it is unsettling. Our storyteller begins their day like any other. They wake up, get ready for work, and step out the door, glancing at their wristwatch. It's 8 in the morning. Their commute is a 15-minute drive, but when they pull into the office parking lot, the car clock reads 10. A whole 2 hours have inexplicably vanished. Confused and a little freaked out, they rush into the office expecting a scolding for being late, but instead they're met with puzzled looks. According to everyone else, it's still just 8:15. They check their phone, their computer, even the wall clock, and sure enough, they all agree. So what happened in the car? Was it a malfunction, or did they really slip through a wrinkle in time? They returned their car, and the clock still stubbornly insists it's 10. They spend the rest of the day in a daze, unable to shake off the eerie feeling. They keep checking their watch, their phone, the clocks around them, half expecting time to slip away again. But the rest of the day proceeds as usual, with every second accounted for. This story raises more questions than it answers. Was it a glitch in the matrix, a hiccup in the fabric of reality itself? Or was it just a faulty car clock playing tricks? We may never know. Time is a tricky thing, especially when it decides to play hide and seek. Ever stayed in a hotel room that gave you the creeps? Well, buckle up, because we're diving into a story from a Reddit user who had quite the supernatural encounter in room 217. Our protagonist, let's call them Alex, was traveling for work and had booked a stay at an old historic hotel. The kind of place that exudes charm and a sense of bygone eras, but also, as Alex would soon discover, harbored something eerily unsettling. Alex was assigned room 217. Nothing seemed amiss at first. The room was quaint, filled with antique furniture and old paintings. It was only when night fell that things took a turn for the eerie. Alex began hearing soft whispers, unintelligible but persistent. They seemed to be emanating from within the room, growing louder as the night wore on. As if the whispers weren't enough to put someone on edge, Alex then noticed the temperature in the room dropping rapidly. Despite cranking up the heat, an icy chill persisted. It was as if the room itself was resisting any attempt to warm up. Then came the shadows. Out of the corner of Alex's eye, they spotted shadowy figures moving around the room. When they turned to look directly at them, the figures would vanish, only to reappear when Alex looked away. The climax of this haunting experience came when Alex woke up in the middle of the night to the sensation of being watched. They opened their eyes to see a spectral figure at the foot of the bed staring right back at them. Alex bolted out of the room, spending the rest of the night in the hotel lobby. The next morning, Alex learned from the hotel staff that room 217 was rumored to be haunted. Previous guests had reported similar experiences, and some even claimed to have seen the ghost of a woman who had died in that room many years ago. And so, dear listeners, Alex's tale concludes with a chilling reminder. Next time you book a hotel room, you might want to check if it's haunted first. Have you ever lost something only for it to reappear in the most unexpected place? It's a question many of us have grappled with, and this next story from a Reddit user plays right into that sentiment. Our protagonist is an individual who loves to read. One day they found themselves engrossed in a book, completely lost in the world of words. As they reached the end of a chapter, they set the book down on their coffee table, got up to make a cup of tea, and when they returned, the book was gone. Now, this wasn't a small, easy to misplace book. It was a hefty hardcover, the kind that commands a presence on any surface. They searched high and low, checked under cushions, behind furniture, even in other rooms, thinking they might have absent-mindedly carried it with them. But the book was nowhere to be found. It had seemingly vanished into thin air. Fast forward to 2 weeks later, and our protagonist is sitting at their desk working on their computer. They reach for their mouse, but instead of the familiar cool plastic, their fingers brush against the rough texture of paper. They look down, and there it was, the missing book lying casually next to their keyboard, as if it had been there the whole time. Confused, they tried to rationalize the situation. Had they simply overlooked it? But they remembered clearly they had searched the desk multiple times during those 2 weeks, and the book was definitely not there. The book had disappeared, only to reappear in the least expected place. It's easy to dismiss such occurrences as forgetfulness or distractions, but when they happen repeatedly and with no logical explanation, one can't help but wonder if there's more to it. Could it be that we're experiencing tiny glitches in our reality, little hiccups in the fabric of our universe that cause objects to disappear and reappear? Objects disappearing and reappearing sounds like a classic case of a glitch in the Matrix. Do you believe in ghosts? This question has been the topic of many a late night conversation, the stuff of campfire tales and sleepover spook stories. But for one Reddit user, it became a chilling reality. Our storyteller begins their tale with a seemingly ordinary night at home, but as the hours ticked by, the shadows in the room began to twist and turn into an unsettling form. A ghostly apparition, they said, as real as the fear that gripped them. They spoke of how the figure seemed to pulsate with an otherworldly energy. A spectral image that was neither fully here nor there. It was an ethereal presence that defied explanation, a phantom that seemed to exist outside the boundaries of our understanding of reality. They described the ghostly apparition as having an almost magnetic pull, a draw that was as terrifying as it was fascinating. They felt their heart pounding in their chest, their breath catching in their throat as they watched the apparition move across the room. They detailed the feeling of the temperature dropping, a chill that crept into the room and wrapped around them like a spectral shroud. It was as if the air itself had become a tangible reminder of the ghostly presence. They recounted the moment when the apparition turned to face them, the sensation of being seen by something that was not of this world. It was a moment that was both terrifying and awe-inspiring, a moment that left them questioning everything they thought they knew about the world. And then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the apparition was gone. The room returned to its normal state, the chill in the air dissipating as quickly as it had arrived. But the memory of the encounter lingered, a haunting reminder of the encounter. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, stories like these can send a chill down your spine. And for our storyteller, this ghostly encounter was a chilling reminder that there are things in this world that we may never fully understand. But one thing is certain, ghosts or not, these tales continue to captivate us, pulling us into the world of the unseen and the unknown. Imagine living the same day over and over again. Welcome to a new glitch in the Matrix tale that feels like it's been ripped straight from a Hollywood movie. This story comes from a Reddit user who swears they experienced a day that repeated itself. Not once, but twice. So this user wakes up one day, goes through their normal routine, coffee, commute, work, everything in its place, nothing out of the ordinary. Then they go to sleep expecting to wake up to a fresh new day, but when they wake up, everything is eerily familiar. The same news on TV, the same coffee spill on their shirt, the same traffic jam on their commute, the same emails at work. It was as if they were trapped in a rerun of the previous day. At first, they thought it was just deja vu, that feeling where you think you've experienced something before. But as the day wore on, they realized that it was more than that. Everything was happening exactly as it had the day before. Every conversation, every minor mishap, every single detail was an exact repeat of the previous day. They tried to change things up to deviate from the script, but it seemed like the world was conspiring to keep them on the same path. Even when they tried to tell others about it, people just laughed it off as a joke or a figment of their imagination. But they knew what they had experienced. It wasn't a dream or a hallucination. It was a repeating day, a glitch in the matrix that had them living the same day twice. It's hard to imagine what it would be like to be trapped in a loop like that, to feel like you're stuck in a time warp. It's a chilling reminder that sometimes reality can be stranger than fiction. So next time you wake up and everything feels a little too familiar, ask yourself, is it just deja vu, or are you living the same day again? Living the same day twice? Now that's a real life Groundhog Day. Have you ever owned something that brought you bad luck? Well, one Reddit user certainly has. They tell a chilling tale of a seemingly innocent object that held a sinister secret. This object was not an antique mirror or a creepy doll, but rather a simple silver ring. The user found the ring at a flea market. It was old and tarnished, but they were drawn to its unique pattern. Without a second thought, they bought it, unaware of the series of unfortunate events that would soon unfold. As soon as they started wearing the ring, their luck took a nosedive. They lost their job, their relationship ended abruptly, and they even got into a minor car accident, all in the span of a week. At first, they chalked it up to a run of bad luck, but then things got weirder. They started experiencing frequent nightmares, often waking up in cold sweat in the middle of the night. The rings seemed to be at the center of these dreams, glowing ominously. They also felt an inexplicable sense of dread whenever they wore the ring. Finally, they decided to get rid of the ring. They threw it into a river, hoping to end the curse. But the very next day, they found the ring sitting on their kitchen table. It was as if the ring had followed them back home. Terrified, the user sought the help of a local priest who performed a ritual to cleanse the ring of any negative energy. The priest told them that the ring had indeed been cursed, but the curse had now been lifted. After this, the user's life returned to normal. The nightmares stopped, they found a new job, and their overall sense of dread disappeared. In the end, they learned a valuable lesson, that sometimes it's not the object, but the curse that it carries. So next time you're drawn to an old, unique object, remember this story. It might just save you from a world of misfortune. Sometimes it's not the object, but the curse that it carries. We've shared some spine-chilling stories today. Imagine how much more we can unearth if we keep this exploration going. Your support plays a crucial role in this journey. By subscribing, you're not just a viewer, but a participant in unraveling these mysteries. Let's reach for the stars, or in our case, 1,000 subscribers. Together, we can delve deeper into the realms of the supernatural and glitches in the Matrix. Don't miss out on more stories that will make you question reality. Subscribe now. Imagine if people around you started disappearing. This is not a plot of a Hollywood movie, but an experience shared by a Reddit user that falls squarely into the glitch in the Matrix category. This user, let's call them Sam, was just going about their regular day when they started noticing something off. People that they'd just seen a moment ago were nowhere to be found. It wasn't in a crowded place where such things could be easily dismissed, but in relatively less crowded areas like a supermarket aisle or a library. Sam first thought it was their mind playing tricks. But when it happened again and again, they couldn't just brush it off. One moment, they'd see someone browsing through the books in the library, and the next, they'd turn around to find them gone. There were no other exits, and it seemed impossible for the person to have left the library in such a short span of time. Now, you'd think that Sam could have just missed the person leaving, right? But here's where it gets weirder. On another instance, Sam was having a conversation with a neighbor in their apartment hallway. Mid-conversation, Sam turned to pick up a dropped item, and when they looked back up, their neighbor had vanished, just like that. In the blink of an eye. Sam was baffled. There was no logical explanation. The hallway was a dead end, and there was no way the neighbor could have entered their apartment without Sam noticing. These inexplicable disappearances kept happening, making Sam question their own sanity. But they're not alone. Many other Reddit users have reported similar experiences, creating a sense of camaraderie among those who've experienced these strange glitches. Some suggest parallel universes, others point to time slips. The truth, it remains as elusive as the disappearing people. Disappearing people? Now that's a glitch that's hard to ignore. To wrap things up, here's a story that combines both the supernatural and a glitch in the Matrix. This tale comes from an anonymous Reddit user who experienced something that defies conventional explanation. One ordinary evening, our storyteller was in their living room, basking in the soft, warm glow of the television. Suddenly, a chilling gust of wind swept through the room. Despite all windows and doors being tightly shut, the television flickered, and then, in the blink of an eye, our storyteller found themselves standing in their backyard. Bewildered, they looked around, taking in the familiar surroundings that now seemed eerily unfamiliar. They had no recollection of walking outside, nor did they understand how they got there so quickly. It was as if time and space had folded in on themselves, teleporting our storyteller from the comfort of their living room to the eeriness of their backyard. As they tried to make sense of this, they noticed their own silhouette reflected in the glass door leading back inside, but something was off. The reflection didn't mimic their movements. It stood still, watching them with an intensity that sent shivers down their spine. Then, as abruptly as it all began, the reflection vanished, and our storyteller found themselves back in the living room, the television still flickering from the earlier disturbance. The chilling gust of wind was gone, leaving behind an unsettling silence. Was it a glitch in the Matrix, a tear in the fabric of reality? Or was it a supernatural entity toying with our storyteller's perception? They couldn't tell. The line between the natural and the supernatural had blurred, leaving them in a state of unease. Our storyteller ends their account with a plea for anyone who has experienced something similar to share their stories, hoping to find some semblance of understanding, or at the very least, the comfort of knowing they're not alone. Both a glitch and a ghost story. Now that's a story to remember. We've journeyed through some truly eerie and mind-boggling stories today. From waking up to an unfamiliar morning routine to the haunting presence in room 217, we've explored the thin line between reality and the inexplicable. We've delved into the uncanny world of doppelgangers and the eerie phenomenon of missing time. We've been intrigued by the mystery of disappearing objects and people, and left pondering over the strange experience of a repeating day. We've felt the chill of ghostly apparitions and the unease of cursed objects. We've questioned the ordinary and challenged the extraordinary. The supernatural stories and glitches in the matrix we've shared today serve as reminders of the fascinating world we live in, full of mysteries waiting to be unraveled. Whether you're a believer in the supernatural or a fan of matrix glitches, remember, reality is often stranger than fiction. Until next time, keep questioning.